Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. One dead, another wounded following violent incidents on St. Anne Plaza. One person is dead and another wounded following a series of disputes at the 8 Rivers Plaza in Otra, St. Anne. The deceased has not yet been identified. According to the police, at about 2 p.m., two workers had a dispute at a well-known restaurant on the plaza. It is reported that an altercation developed and one of the workers was stabbed multiple times by the other. The injured worker was rushed to hospital and admitted in serious but stable condition. A police source told reporters that shortly after, a man who is said to be the brother of the injured worker came and attacked the other worker. Lawmen say a police officer that was on the scene intervened in the second dispute and shot the alleged brother of the injured worker. The man who was shot by the police was taken to hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. Investigations continue. Curfew for troubled Greenville, Manchester. Police are reporting that a curfew will be imposed in the troubled community of Greenville in Manchester starting yesterday. A police source confirmed that the curfew will start at 6 p.m. on Monday and will end 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Based on the recent spate of violent crimes in Greenville community and its environs, the Division of Intelligence Investigative Arms have conducted inquiries, investigation, and surveillance exercises. Information so far reveal that the recent spate of violent crimes in the community is because of interpersonal dispute between rival gangsters, the source said. The boundaries are as follows. North boundary from a section of Gabby Street at Northern 1182 meters along Gabby Street Road to a section of a roadway at the Winston Jones Highway vicinity of Miketown bus stop. Eastern boundary from a section of the roadway at the Winston Jones Highway vicinity of Miketown bus stop at the eastern boundary 1867 meters along the Winston Jones Highway to entrance of Tropics View Hotel at the southern boundary. Southern boundary from a section of the entrance of Tropic View Hotel at southern 1588 meters along an imaginary line to the intersection of Texas Street and Dunsin Lane. Western boundary from Dunsin Lane and Texas Street intersection at the southern boundary 1793 meters along an imaginary line westerly to a section of Gabby Street at the northern boundary. Persons are reminded that during the hours of the curfew, all persons within the boundaries of the curfew are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized in writing by the ground commander. The curfew follows Sunday morning's deadly gun attack in Top Greenville that left one man dead and 3 other people injured. Anne-Marie Falls frustrated at poor road conditions faced by Ferry Hill residents. Following early morning protests from residents of Ferry Hill and surrounding communities in Portland, Member of Parliament for Portland Eastern Anne-Marie Falls said she is beyond frustrated that residents are still being affected by a prolonged dust nuisance. Residents in the tourism parish blocked the main road in Ferry Hill from 5 a.m. on Monday in protest of the poor road condition and lack of water for the last 3 weeks. Voss, in a release on Monday, said she is disappointed that despite numerous calls to the parties in prime position to remedy the matter, the problem remains. It is most disappointing that little attention has been given to this matter by the parties that can assist in a resolution. After numerous calls for a resolution, I am beyond frustrated that the residents of Ferry Hill and surrounding communities continue to experience this prolonged dust nuisance and absence of piped water and bad road conditions, Voss said, calling on the National Water Commission (NWC) to not just take note of this issue, but to advise citizens on the state of the water supply and to provide sustained trucking of water during the drought. The Member of Parliament also called on the China Harbour Engineering Company of Jamaica to truck water into the affected communities at least twice per week to eliminate the dust nuisance. Voss went on to express alarm that while contracts valued at billions of dollars are allocated for road maintenance, residents are still being subjected to these unfavorable road conditions, especially motorists and other road travelers. It is affecting essential services, schools, hospitals, the business, household, and tourism industries. It is a crisis that the communities are facing due to the unprecedented and sustained drought. I am urging the National Water Commission, National Works Agency, and China Harbour Engineering Company and its subcontractors to respond to our call for a result, she said. Following yesterday's morning protests, a heavy contingent of police were dispatched to the area to help maintain order and clear roads. 4 shot, 1 fatally in Portmore gun attack. 4 people were shot, one fatally, during an attack in Portmore St. Catherine on Monday afternoon. The deceased has not yet been identified. The injured persons, all males, have been admitted to hospital. No motive has been established for the attack. Reports reaching reporters are that around 2:10 p.m., the 4 men were at a car wash on Oledino Drive in Brayton Meadows, Portmore, when they were pounced upon by 3 men. Police said the 3 men pulled handguns and opened fire at the 4, hitting one to the right side of his chest, another to the left side of his head, and another in his back. The unidentified male was shot all over his body. All 4 men were taken to hospital where one was pronounced dead. The other 3 were admitted. Former on murder rap after during daylight gun attack on nurse. Police have confirmed a man for last Wednesday's during daylight killing of a nurse along the Sandy Bay Main Road in Clarendon. He is 40-year-old Christopher Lasco-Simmet, a farmer from Rasta Corner in Freetown in the parish. He was charged with murder, possession of a prohibited weapon, and using a prohibited weapon to commit a felony. Simmet was charged with the death of Abigail Ellis, 25, a practical nurse from Roswell Road in Sandy Bay. The deceased reportedly named her attackers in a dying declaration to the police at the Maypen Hospital. It was reported that around 1:45 p.m., Ellis was on her way home when a black Honda Stream motor car drove up from behind and a male known to her exited with a firearm in his hand. Police said the man opened gunfire, hitting Ellis in the buttocks, hand and face. The shooter reportedly turned the car, which drove away. The injured nurse was assisted to hospital by a member of the community. She was admitted in a serious but stable condition. Ellis, however, succumbed to her injuries at 9 p.m. that same day while undergoing treatment. Police reportedly found 8 9mm spent casing while processing the scene. Simmet surrendered at the Maypen police station on the day of the incident, accompanied by his attorney. A black Honda Stream motor car belonging to the accused was also seized. On Friday, a question and answer session was conducted with the accused in the presence of his attorney, and he was subsequently charged. Police said another man is also being sought in connection with the killing. 2 teenage girls among 3 shot in Westmoreland. 3 teens involving girls ages 14 and 15 were shot and injured in Greenchill, Morgansbridge, Westmoreland on Sunday night. The 3 were reported at home when they were shot, police said. The other injured person was a 19-year-old man. Information reaching reporter was that, around 10 p.m., all 3 were inside their home when loud banging was heard, followed by several loud explosions. After the shooting, it was realized that the 3 were suffering from what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the right hand, head, and right leg. They were assisted to hospital where they were treated and admitted in stable condition. Police later processed the scene and found 11 spent casings. Clarendon party patron shot dead after allegedly confronting man he accused of being gay. The shooting of a man after he allegedly attacked a businessman he accused of being a homosexual has been upgraded to a homicide investigation following his death over the weekend. The incident reportedly happened on Checkers District in Fort Pass, Clarendon last week. Dead is 30-year-old Leon Hall from Sandy Bay in the parish. It was reported that around 12:45 a.m. last Wednesday, Hall was at a party with a male friend who reportedly went and hugged a businessman who was also a patron at the venue. The police said the businessman, who is also a licensed firearm holder, kissed Hall's friend. Hall immediately began arguing with the businessman, referring to him and accusing him of being a homosexual. It was further reported that Hall pulled a knife, went within striking distance of the businessman, and advanced towards him in a threatening manner. The businessman, the police said, then pulled his licensed firearm and discharged 1 round. The bullet hit Hall in the head and he fell to the ground. Police said a crowd converged upon the businessman, who fled and sought refuge at a relative's home. Hall was assisted to the Maypen Hospital, where he was admitted in serious condition. He was later transferred to the Kingston Public Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries while being treated. Police have since seized the licensed firearm and upgraded the investigation from a shooting to a homicide. Security guard held with US $50,000 hidden in wigs fined $1 million. A Jamaican-American security guard who attempted to smuggle US $50,000 into the island hidden in wigs has been fined $1 million. 30-year-old Kennard Cook pleaded guilty to possession of criminal property and concealment of criminal property in the St. James Parish Court on Friday and was ordered to pay $500,000 for each offense. Cook was arrested at the Sangso International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James in April 2021 after he failed to declare the funds found hidden in his suitcase. During the proceedings, attorney at law Aberdeen Foote, while noting that the judge had the opportunity to impose a fine and/or prison term, begged for leniency while stressing that a custodial sentence should be a last resort. He also urged the judge to consider his client's good social inquiry report. Cook was initially charged with possession of criminal property, concealment of criminal property, cross-border movement of funds, and conspiracy. However, he was freed of two of the charges following submissions by his attorney, who thanked the judge for only imposing a fine. Foote said he was further thankful as the penalty for cross-border charge would have been a hefty $22 million, as the Crime of Proceeds Act provides for the judge to level a fine for 3 times the amount of funds being transported. Please remember to subscribe, like, share.